Was I right next to the entrance before? I didn't even realize it. I swear. Yes, I was. Unbelievable. And then automatically triggers a cutscene if I just hopped in through that window. Unbelievable.
I am not well. Call your son Apollo. Cure me of this madness. I will do anything.
Barnabas.
Cassandra. Oh, Cassandra, you have to help me. Something's very wrong.
I know, Barnabas, I know. You have to give me the artifact.
I'm scared.
I know you are. Just hand it over, all right?
But...
It's causing you to act this way. If you give me the artifact, everything will be okay.
But it protects me. It's the only thing that keeps me safe.
The artifact is changing you.
Still in there. Can't you see what it's doing to you?
With this, I don't have to be afraid anymore. I've been a weakling and a coward, and now I'm as powerful as a god.
The real you would never say that. Give it to me.
It is mine.
It's not glowing anymore. Oh, that looks very different from the clones that were previously in the series here. But yeah, it looks like we are doing Apple of Eden cloning thing. When was the last time that we did that? Like, Assassin's Creed 2? I know it was at least the first time. I don't know if there was a last time. Wait, I think Desmond did it once in AC3. I think. Oh yeah, and I can't use my abilities here, so this is gonna suck a little bit because I can't heal. Remember a while back when Harmonia was doing his playthrough of Scarlet and Violet, took a screenshot of a scene later in the game where one of the characters comments on the ancient technology, a room full of CRTs. Oh my god. And pasted images around with storefronts, likes of Sears. That's still around. I think. Is it? Now that I think about it, when was the last time I saw one of those? But I think that they are. Blockbuster, etc. all over the image. Probably the best meme you ever made. It really sucks when I actually have no method to heal. Is there anything stopping me from, Okay, well, good to know. Just don't mess up my parries here. I'm pretty sure one more hit and I just die. I'm pretty sure here. So just don't get hit. Just don't get hit again. It's just that simple. Okay. Just get all my parries flawlessly. Oh, found the file and put it in the memes channel in Discord if anyone wants to see it. Oh my god, there's so many of them here. Okay, if this pillar could not block my vision, that'd be great. Yeah, just don't mess up my parries. Also, I forgot I had my one bailout. The illusions bleed. I think I'm getting rid of a CRT. Remember, they're valuable to the melee community, so make sure to bash in the screen first. No. One day, I think I'd like to own a CRT again for playing, like, some classic games on. I think when the day comes I have my own place, I would love to have a games room where, like, one is, like, a main TV for playing games, but on, like, another side of the room, there's also, like, a CRT to play, like, some of the older consoles. I think it would be really cool. So, I would like to have one day. Get that authentic experience. And I remember using CRTs growing up, and then never really feeling the need to go back to them after we kind of upgraded to, whoa. Everything that we use nowadays. But nowadays, as someone that very much appreciates gaming history, I would definitely use one again. Imagine I died, like, right that last second there.
No matter. I know your weakness lies not in your brawn, but your heart.
Oh, you could say that he's getting better at it because now the illusions are getting more realistic, like they were in Assassin's Creed 2. What? I muted my microphone by accident when I was saying that. Destroy Barnabas's illusions. So...
No, please.
Weakness of my heart, huh?
I surrender, please.
It's not the real you.
So... Oh, it won't let me use my bow. I was gonna make him take an arrow to the knee so that his adventuring days were over.
I have to weaken it. I have to keep going.
So I just have to go around assassinating them all?
Remember, Cassandra?
Don't tell me I'm actually
That's
only gonna
when
kill
our
one.
journey began.
If they actually killed a character in this DLC, I'd be extremely surprised.
They're not real. They're not real.
So, this dude.
Oh gods, let me not be killed. Let Cassandra spare me.
Forgive me, Barnabas.
Okay.
I'm so weak. Please, don't hurt me.
I won't hurt you. Just give me the artifact.
Help me, please. Who am I? What's become of me?
You're Barnabas, my friend. If you keep it, you'll be someone else forever.
You are no friend. You are going to leave me as soon as you have it. I will not let fear take me.
Don't make me do this.
That is precisely what I will make you do. Unless you are the one who is afraid.
I don't know. I doubt this choice is actually important. I'll do this. I assume the outcome would be the same no matter what, right?
Barnabas!
That's going to leave a mark. Oh, no question.
Did it hurt you?
It got me, all right, but I won't lose it. Thank the gods. Whoever heard of a man with one arm and one eye? Though I am slightly embarrassed, I really thought I was on to something there.
What were you thinking going after the artifact? How could you be so stupid? Who cares about your arm when you could have died?
At least my intentions were good.
You have no idea what almost happened. I almost killed you.
Oh, don't worry. I'm as sturdy as a military ship.
Listen to me. I'm immortal. Get it? You are not. You make mistakes and you die. Gone. And you leave everyone else to deal with it.
Immortal?
Truly immortal?
Yes. Immortal. Surprise.
I knew you had the god's touch!
Everyone I love, I have to leave behind. And I almost had to leave you. Forever.
Cassandra, it is the mortal way. We all go when the gods say so, and I eagerly await an afterlife of calm seas and bottomless crab cakes.
It's not funny.
Maybe not, but did we ever have fun today? That's what matters, eh? We don't know how long we have the present, but it's a gift as good as gold.
Cold. You did take me on a treasure hunt after all.
And all I got was a busted arm.
Let's get you patched up.
Keeper, see for yourself. You are a protector of men, an intermediary of our world and theirs. Your journey will take you to lands of kings, queens, and conquerors, over water and through fire, into revolution and rebellion. But your presence...
Man, look at the textures on those mountains in the distance.
Take up this task, for them and for yourself.
That's
one treasure hunt over, but there's still another one out there.
There is?
Maybe I should look for Herodotus and Barnabas' clues.
Okay. New quest and New Horizon. Is that the other quest I had? Or the what? This here? Nope. That's a different thing Rabob here. Okay, when does it become a crossover thing? But yeah, Barnabas is a pretty chill and cool guy, I will admit. Like, that was a pretty cool conversation between the two of them. I will admit that. But, they just pretended that this was a 2-hour, like, quick crossover DLC just for funsies. And it actually is, like, the proper end of the main story and has nothing to do with crossover stuff. Is kind of the impression that I'm starting to get here. What, you try to do a leap of faith like me and you failed? What's with the lag on picking up his thing? When am I gonna actually get it? I swear I pressed Y to pick up his thing. I was like, I was just bugged. Maybe I get nothing. Okay, well, I mean... What is this DLC? I am so confused here. So this really is going to lead up to, like, the decision to do what she did at the end of the modern day stuff. She passes on the staff and then dies. And, like, decides to live until that point. I don't know.
I wasn't successful in getting Cassandra out of her funk.
Out of my funk, but into a lot more trouble.
Oops. Did I already apologize for that?
Coming to Corfu, I had no inkling that we would get caught up in a tale of legendary treasure.
They say life gets dull without surprises.
Now that's a reason to cheers.
And to you, Icaros.
Yes, we all have but one life to lead. We have to do the most with it.
One life? Speak for yourself.
You're right, Barnabas. Heroes like Cassandra will live on in the stories and legends of their triumphs. They live forever.
Listen, I want you two to know I'll be leaving soon. To travel across waters I've never dreamed of crossing. And I don't know when I'll be back.
You're leaving? Again? Where? Why?
I have a task ahead
I'll
of
go
me. I
wherever
guess she was
I'm
convinced
needed
then.
in the world.
That last situation.
I can't run from my responsibilities. Someone, I mean, something, tells me my journey's not over yet.
We couldn't possibly keep you for ourselves. Though you'll be everywhere in my writings, that's for certain.
I'm honored. Maybe you could give me one of your manuscripts, Herodotus. I'm sure even those from far-off lands would love to read it.
Don't trouble yourself. These lands will do for now. But if you're serious, a storyteller is always prepared. Take it, but feel no need to share it. It's for you.
I have something for you too.
No. The spear.
You knew what it was the moment you met me. But I've outgrown it. It's yours now. Careful. It's still sharp.
I'll cherish it forever.
It's still on her back. Did the people designing the cutscene not
You only want
realize this? There's two.
Guess
She
I'll
just
need
gave
to
him a
find
fake.
another second in command for my trip.
Ubisoft games, am I right?
Traveling the world? With you?
If you'll have me as your captain.
I don't know how much longer these old bones can hoist a sail.
But I'll go as far as I can. The Adrestia is yours.
What will be your first stop, Cassandra?
I don't know. What I do know is that I need a new weapon. Egypt
has always fascinated me.
Ah, one of my favorite places. Let me tell you one of my best stories.
What? So that is the actual end of the story. That is where we get the credits roll. Not at the end of the last DLC that I completed, but at the end of this one. And that's the ending of the game. Being convinced, yes, I am going to do the task that has been asked of me. Like, be immortal and go around trying to keep, like, the artifacts out of people's hands and stuff like that. But, again, this DLC released 2.5 years after the next game. Like, the next game had already been out for a decent span of time by the time this released. So they released this game, then released one DLC for it, and then a second DLC for it. And then they released their next game, and that's out for a while. And then they released another DLC for this game again, and that's the thing that finishes off the story, not the paid DLC in the first place? What? So that other quest that I have, the one where it's like, go and get like the treasure hints, and I had 1 out of 5, is that the thing that leads to the crossover, and that's more of like an optional side thing, and the main part of that deal, I'm pretty sure the main part of the DLC was supposed to be the crossover thing. That's the thing that like came up in marketing all the time. Before I'd even played this game, I remember seeing like a couple of years ago, like all the marketing for like, whoa, there's crossover stories and stuff. And that was like how this thing was marketed. But really, it was just how the story actually ends. Why? So, hold on. When did this game first come out again? Hold on. Compared to this DLC release. I forget. When did this come out again? Did that mute the game when I clicked off? Well, I do want to listen to whatever it is there. No, maybe it didn't mute it. Might as well look it up. Hold on. Oh, I had it open in the one tab here. So hold on. The game, like the MP3 true ending? What's the MP3 true ending? So yeah, this released the 14th of December 2021. When did Assassin's Creed Odyssey first come out? I always have it in my stream descriptions. So October 5th, 2018. And then 14th of December 2021. Oh, Metroid Prime 3. What, where you just have to 100% it? But it's not 100%ing it. It's the fact that it released 3 years after the game came out. Over 3 years later is when they finished the story and showed how it actually ends. What? Like, at least that's really dumb. Like, at least I'm in a position where it's like, I'm just playing this, like, so much later, like, years after it's been out, so I can play it in one fell swoop like I did. But for, like, a player that actually played these when they first came out, like, playing this on launch day and then getting through the story, and then being like, oh, well, it didn't really end, and then playing this and being like, oh, that connects to some overall stuff, but it didn't really end, and then playing this and being as unsatisfied as I was at the end, being like, what? Really? That's how it supposedly ended? And then, oh, I have it in my description right here already. I didn't need to look it up. I forgot I added that already. And then a couple of years after that, 2.5 years after the last DLC, then we get the story ending. Like, what? Again, like, as someone that's just playing it all in one fell swoop after the fact, it's not that big a deal, because I can just play the main game, and then play, like, the DLCs in the order that they came out, and then I get the full story. But for anyone that played the game right when it came out and played things as they released, dealing with having to wait over 3 years to find out what the end of Cassandra's story is, and that still leaves questions unanswered. Is the case, like, why did she pass the staff on to Layla? Why did she know, like, she's the one to pass the staff on to and stuff like that? Yeah, I'd be pissed as well. I'm pissed for the people that would be in that position. Like, that is one heck of a long time to finish a story. Like, at least it's finished. Because, yeah, I was saying at the end of this, like, it felt, like, very not conclusive. Like, it kind of makes sense with modern day storyline, because presumably they try to finish that off in Valhalla with Layla's story, or maybe just keep it ongoing, or I don't know what's going on with that. So of course it makes sense that the modern day story would continue, but this is the end of, like, this hero, this playable character of Cassandra / Alexios, and would presumably be the end of their story. And this felt a lot more definitive, a lot more finale-like than this did, where it's just like, yep, you cleared the trials. And I guess you learned about these leaders being the awful leaders is the lessons that you learned. You didn't really learn anything apart from that. But then this being like she loses the ability of her spear and needs to learn to not rely on that anymore, and then leaves her spear behind but still treks out to adventure around while being immortal and seeking out these other artifacts and stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, that feels like the end of her journey in Greece, and then the rest just happens like amidst the other Assassin's Creed stories and would presumably be present in those other through the events of the other games despite never being seen again. It really makes you wonder what the heck she was doing over all that time. So there's still a lot of questions that aren't really answered, but at least it does feel a lot more conclusive of, like, trying to take a vacation, not being able to, like, truly step away from things, and there always being more to do, and being like, nope, I'd rather just be with the ones I care about, and then change your mind and being like, nope, I think for the sake of, like, the importance of the world, I am going to try to keep those artifacts out of people's hands. Like, that felt a lot more like the end of her story. But yeah, the main thing it was marketed as was crossover stories, crossover logo. This is the logo of this DLC. Is this the Odyssey symbol times the, or X the Valhalla symbol. Featuring the protagonists of each game, Cassandra, so I guess that's the canonical thing, and Ivor Varinsdottir, respectively. Okay, so I guess it's the other quest I do if I want the crossover content, because I was waiting for the crossover for so long. It was first unveiled by Ubisoft on the Assassin's Creed YouTube channel along the announcement of the Dawn of Ragnarok expansion. I think that's the final expansion of Valhalla. So they announced that this was a DLC that was coming at the same time as, like, the final DLC of that game. The crossover saw both games receive a new free story arc update, with those who are treasured in Odyssey that had... Okay, so those who are treasured isn't the crossover. So it's two things. I didn't know that. I thought it was just a crossover story. I was going into this being like, where's the Valhalla protagonist? Where's the Valhalla protagonist? Not realizing that I was playing another story arc that was just included for free. In Odyssey, that had Cassandra travel to the island of Corfu to explore the aftermath of obtaining the immortality granting Staff of Hermes Trismegistus, while a fated encounter in Valhalla had Ivor travel to the Isle of Skye, where she encounters Cassandra. So maybe it isn't a time travel thing. Maybe it literally is just she lived that long because of, like, the immortality of the staff. So is it not a crossover this way? Do I not ever play like Cassandra while seeing the Valhalla protagonist? I guess we don't get a glimpse of the future here, after all. It's just, here's the setup in one game about how she's adventuring out, and then when you play Valhalla, you see her, like, having adventured out? Yeah, that's right, Persona 3. I guess that's what it is the crossover stories is Odyssey, here's the setup, here's the explanation for it coming to pass, and then in Valhalla you see some effects, and then it's like, hey, here's Cassandra appearing in one game, so you can trust that she is, like, doing stuff through the history and stuff. Because, yeah, apparently it's in the Valhalla DLC that I'll encounter Cassandra. The expansion was only made possible due to coincidental timings because of the COVID-19 pandemic, as Mark Alexis Cote revealed to Eurogamer, developers at Ubisoft Montreal headquarters usually had a closing process after a game, and any applicable expansions were completed, where the computers that worked on art, animation, models, etc. would be boxed up, taped shut, and put in storage, and where the teams actually hoped to never have to reopen them. However, when staff left their offices and shifted to remote work as part of Quebec's pandemic response, the boxes still had not been made, despite having been many months since Odyssey's second extensive downloadable expansion. Yeah, extensive is a good way to put it. Expansion The Fate of Atlantis released its third and final installment of the... Oh, wait, released its third and final installment. Did it release, like, episodes of, like, Telltale games, where they just released in episodes? Because I know they were called episodes. Is that how these were handled, where it just released episodically? Again, things I wouldn't realize by playing it, like, so much later. And mid-July 2019. Wait, what do I have written down here? April 23rd, 2019. Oh, so that's, like, initial release then, like when episode 1 came out, but they came out until mid-July. Okay. This uncharacteristically left Odyssey's assets still available for use. After Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot called and asked if Odyssey was finished, Cote confirmed it and hung up, only to remember that the computers were still not in storage, and then called Guillemot again to pitch the idea, not just because of his own and the player community's reactions to Mrs. Santhi Mahut's performance as Cassandra. Oh, that's just the name of the actor? I mean, yeah, that was great voice acting work in this game. But also to try and draw more players of Valhalla from those who still lingered in Odyssey. When interviewed by GameSpot, Ubisoft Quebec's associate creative director, Clemence Nogrix, said that the company hoped that this could prove and potentially give a green light to something in the future, but not confirm whether another similar project was in development elsewhere. Okay, so this is a thing that had a very, very small chance of ever existing and just kind of happened to by chance when they were like, hey, we haven't put away the stuff for Odyssey yet. Also, what the hell is this with like boxing up the computers and putting them into storage? Why wouldn't they just like continue to use the same machines for like future game development? Isn't that just like completely wasteful? Like, maybe I just don't know enough about game development, having not actually worked in the industry yet myself. But that sounds incredibly wasteful, just to, like, put them into storage. Like, if you're gonna store away the assets and stuff like that, then just take out, like, the hard drives or something like that. Like, what a waste of money to take, like, fully functional computers and just put the entire things in storage, being like, oh yeah, we're not using that in future projects, so we already use that for our project. It's gonna be the thing that only has the assets of those projects. Like, that seems odd. So it's just because of the timing with that and COVID pandemic leaving access to them available for a while. And then they were like, hey, there's still some people playing Odyssey to this day, but probably because of how much absurd amount of content there is in that game, that they figured that there were still players lingering in Odyssey, because that's not a game that you finish, like, anytime remotely soon. This is a game that takes quite the long commitment to finish. So they figured that people were still lingering in Odyssey, and they were like, hey, let's make this crossover story here to see if we can draw interest into our next game. See if some people that are still playing our previous game might be more interested in buying our new game. Like, boxes haven't been made yet. I assume that just means, like, packed up. Like, I assume this is a meme here of just go buy some. But yeah, I assume with the stuff there, like, So is there really nothing behind that other quest? Like, I'm done now? I did it? Because I was waiting so long for there to be a crossover, but I guess it's only a crossover on the Valhalla side of things. And it's just a new story arc in the Odyssey side of things. Still cool, there was a new free DLC, but that's a interesting thingamabob. Side memories, a kind of treasure hunt. That was the other quest here, right? Kind of treasure hunt, visual representation of that. Well, it doesn't really list anything. Kind of treasure hunt. Here, let me just make sure that there isn't anything that I'm missing behind that. If there's anything important. If there's something important and there does turn out to be some sort of crossover, then I'll play it. But if there isn't, then I probably just won't. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, a kind of treasure hunt. IGN, kind of grody, but whatever. So you go get the things, and then what happens is what I want to know. Let's complete that, and you find the reward in the treasure chest. Do this. When you're close, use the arrows to tag the target and find a treasure chest on the beach. After that, you complete. So it's just some loot. There isn't, like, additional cutscenes, and there isn't, like, some sort of crossover thing or something like that. Hold on. Hold on. I remember watching the trailer for this when it first came out. Assassin's Creed Valhalla crossover trailer. I specifically remember seeing the trailer for this. Crossover Stories announcement trailer. Yeah, that. And this is like the promotional banner where it's like, whoa, there's a crossover between the two. Except it's only a crossover in one game, which I guess makes sense timeline-wise. But you'd think they would be a little bit clearer about that in the marketing, if that were the case. Where's my volume mixer? Here, open volume mixer. Mute this for just a hot second. Stop. Yeah, it shows that this is watched. It's a 51-minute ad. 51-second ad. So, I guess this is just on the Valhalla side of things? Hold on. With Assassin's Creed crossover stories, discover the first ever crossover between two Assassin's Creed games. Dive deeper into Cassandra's journey with two new stories, those who are treasured, available for free in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and a fated encounter. Yeah, so, I did it. I completed those who are treasured. It's done. Dive deeper into Cassandra's journey with that. So it all centers around, like, her, I guess, where it's like, hey, you can do this in this game, and then you'll see her crop up again in the other video game, I guess, is what it is. Available from the 14th of December. And they dropped the trailer for it the day before it released, just like, surprise, there's free DLC coming out for both these games. Okay, let me just rewatch what this trailer looked like as a reminder, because I would have first watched this at the end of 2021. When it first came out. Whoever that is, I don't know. I haven't played this yet.
Cassandra.
But I remember seeing this and being like, whoa, they're doing like some crossover promotional thing between their games. Whoa, big flips and stuff. Yeah, and this was the trailer for this DLC that just dropped kind of out of nowhere. A free new story in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So that's what I just played. So that's the thing that I experienced there. And a free new story in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And that's the one where both the heroes are present. So that's where it takes place. Yeah, and then they're gonna be like friends and stuff. And I guess Cassandra gets a hidden blade later, and the spoilers, I guess. Okay, free story available and free story available. It's kind of cool about them releasing free DLC later. But again, it doesn't feel all that satisfying when, like, so this was clearly meant to be the end of the game, it sounds like, from the description that I just read here. And that this just kind of happened to be due to, like, opportunity and them thinking it would be a good advertising opportunity for the next game. But, like, the ending of this felt a lot more final than the ending of this, at least in terms of Cassandra's story. And I felt a lot more satisfied by the end of this, despite going into it, expecting it to be a crossover thing this whole time and being like, where's Ivor, where's Ivor, where's Ivor? And then it turned out to not be the case, and I was still like, you know, that is a lot more satisfying of an end compared to this. And only came to be by chance as promotional material. And, like, I remember seeing this trailer and assuming that it was like a crossover in both the games, but yeah, I guess timeline-wise, it makes sense for it to just be the other one. Alright. Hopefully we can use an Odyssey. Well, we can't. So, yeah. There's that. I guess I did it now. But yeah. Not even the next game, the current game. Oh, what? For, like, the crossover thing, Bob? Well, I don't even know. Well, this was not what I expected this DLC to be. Oftentimes I'll say, I don't know what I expected that to be, but it wasn't that. But in this case, I expected this to be something very, very extremely different from what it was, because it was completely marketed as crossover stories. But I guess it's only crossover stories if you play the other one, which, I mean, I'll get to eventually here. But yeah, that was not what I was expecting. Yeah, that was definitely a better ending than the very abrupt and no credits rolling of the Fate of Atlantis DLC. Like, how do you beat that DLC and there's no credits rolling, despite that's supposed to be the end? And then the DLC that released 2.5 years later from that, you beat that, and then there's the credits roll. That, because when you have the credits roll on a game, that's what tells you it's done. You beat it. It's cleared. And there was no credits rolling at the end of the last DLC that was supposed to be the intended end. And then the additional story arc that they added 2.5 years later is where the credits roll and it's done. That I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss for words here. But yeah, this is a JRPG where it'll do stuff like that. Well, I guess now I'm done with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. The last time was a debate. It wasn't actually the ending. I just thought this would be like a little bit of side DLC, but nope, this feels a lot more like the ending. So I guess this is the final finale. How many finales did I have in this playthrough? In the main game, I had 3 finales, because, like, there was 3 different storylines being told, so there was 3 parts that all had finale on them, because, like, 3 stories that ended. Then there was DLC 1 finale, and then DLC 2 finale, and then this DLC is, like, the final finale. Maybe I'll just put on the thumbnail, like, final finale, or something like that, because it is the final finale, but 6 of them. I don't think I've ever had 6 finale parts in a single series before, but they're all the end of, like, the game, in a way, you could say. And there's 6 finales. Man. I don't even think I have that many finales in my Fire Emblem Three Houses playlist, because that one, there'll be 4 finales for the 4 different routes and stuff. Valhalla will be the 7th finale to Odyssey. Yeah, it probably will, won't it? Oh my goodness. Man. I guess I'll close this. Well, that was Those Who Are Treasured. And, oh, is this going to be a little bit of a hint of things to come? Or is this a bit of a nod to Origins? What is this? Did we actually go to Egypt? There's a post-credit sequence. Library of Alexandria. Oh, so this connects to Origins? Wait, there's more. But wait, there's more. Also, this feels like it's gotta be pre-rendered. This looks very pre-rendered, although the frame rate looks a little off, not gonna lie. Yeah, I figured that's who that would be. So she did go to Egypt after all. So I guess went to Egypt first and then goes to, I don't know, England or something? Or maybe goes to other places first. Oh, puts that there. But what is it?
Everyone will read your words.
Like, is it just a story of his? Was that a thing in Origins? Where you can go check here and there's a story by Herodotus? Would that be a thing? Maybe they would update Origins and add that. But I kind of doubt it. I doubt they would plan that far ahead. Yeah, so they do this to try to get interest in the other game. Cassandra's story continues in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. What, do I get a trailer for it now? Oh, I got a trailer for it now. This is totally pre-rendered as well. So now we get a trailer for the next game. So it really was just like an advertising campaign for the next game, essentially. Right? Or this is a little bit of a sneak preview at that DLC of the next game, I guess, or something. Whoa, I totally didn't see that coming. It's not like it was in the marketing material or anything. And then they advertise a completely different game. That's Ubisoft for you. Oh, Ubisoft. Full screen? No, I don't care. I don't care. I don't. Alright, I'm done now. I did it. So that's the reason why it was there. Because they were like, hey, Odyssey is taking forever for people to get through. There's people still playing that to this day. Let's see if we can get their interest in Valhalla by giving you a new story arc to finish, and then have like the big text of Cassandra's story continues in Valhalla. But yeah, oh, I guess you wouldn't know. Library of Alexandria, a real safe place for literature. Oh yeah, no doubt. Done with Odyssey? Yes, finally. I'm actually done now. That was the final thing. This is probably going to be about a 280-ish part series. Something like that, if not more. Maybe less. I don't remember how long I've been going here. Time sure flies when you're playing a super buggy Ubisoft game that you don't even know what the heck is going on in half the time. Done. Yeah, the story continues in Valhalla, apparently. Odyssey never ends. But yeah, now all of 2025 will be dedicated to Valhalla. HD Valhalla, 360 parts. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen here. Oh, man. But yeah, I'm done. I did the thing. What are my hours at? 152. I think I might have left this game open overnight once, so maybe a little bit under 150. But yeah, got about 150 hours in this game. Wow. All right. I think it's time to save for the final time. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not padding this crap to 300 parts. Yeah, it still is a lot there, for sure. Yeah, that was quite a bit of video game there, wasn't it? I'm really glad it's done now. Because, oh my god, that is one of the longest playthroughs I've ever done in my life. That is the longest, like, single playthrough I've done of a game on this channel yet, beating Persona 5. I'm sure, I don't know which game I'd actually have more hours in. I probably have more hours in Persona 5, because there would have been, like, more Persona Fusion and grinding and stuff like that I would have done, like, off-camera between sessions. So I don't know what the actual longest, in terms of hours put into it, game is on this channel. Maybe Smash 4 or Dead by Daylight, if you want to be technical. Though most of that stuff is just lost to history now. But the question comes, is 150 hours of content, or is there some BS padding? There's quite a decent bit of BS padding, yeah. And that's one of my complaints with the game. I mean, the world's, like, really pretty, yeah, it's cool to explore and stuff like that. And the combat can be fun, like kicking people off cliffs. though you kind of get tired of it eventually. I made myself get less tired of it over time with my whole sound effects and stuff like that. That made things pretty fun, I will admit. But yeah, that I did like the ending of that free DLC story. Again, not all what I was expecting. I was expecting there to be like some sort of time travel bullshit and the protagonist of this game to like appear. I wasn't expecting it to be like ignored this like just testing to make sure it worked on my computer back in 2023. Because I was making sure that both these games were working here. So it wasn't at all what I expected, but it actually was kind of a cute ending. And some of the stuff that Barnabas said at the end was actually like really meaningful and nice. So that felt like a nice way to kind of end things with some actual food for thought. Like, because let's face it, the fate of Atlantis did not end with any food for thought. It just ended with a, huh? Really? What did that do? And why are all the characters so dumb? Whereas the ending of like this free DLC that most likely would have never existed actually felt like, wow, there's some food for thought and they're setting out because the main adventure is done. And that was actually pretty nice. Also, just making sure. Yep, I have my spear abilities back here. Just making sure. Just making sure here. So yeah, that actually was kind of a nice ending that by a trick of fate came to be. So I like that more than the intended ending at the end of the Fate of Atlantis. Still have no idea what's going to happen with the modern day story. Like, I guess I'll find out starting next year. Like, it's not like I'm going to have to wait long to find out. But yeah, that was a video game that I have a lot of time in. I did have fun for a lot of that. But it is one of those games that doesn't feel like very considerate to the player's time and like definitely is a little bit guilty of overstaying its welcome. But I am glad that I played that free DLC. Like, that felt worth it. Like, that was kind of cute there. Like, it doesn't really add anything to the overall story apart from just saying like, hey, Cassandra's saying out on our journey, but it did add like some food for thought. It was kind of cute there. And I guess, yeah, it does make more sense with like Cassandra with Alethea being like, hey, you should go do this thing, and Cassandra being like, no, and then at the end being like, I guess I will. So it adds a little bit more context to her showing up in the modern day, but like, there's still some questions surrounding that, and would that be answered in the next game or something like that? Like, she just stuck around for that long and then passed the staff to Layla, who then murderized one person and almost murderized a second person with it immediately after, and claims that's not controlling her in any negative ways. Most definitely not. Let's see here. Finally maxed out a third Persona stats in Persona 5 Royal. Nice. That's gotta be pretty satisfying there. Well, it's 8:29. When's the last time I started my car? That would have been about 4:30-ish. I can go ahead and start it just for a little bit. Again, it's good to be doing it from time to time. I finished another thing. Another thing is done as I'm trying to get through this list of things to do here. So maybe I'll come back and play the Thousand Year Door stuff. Is my Switch charged now? Reach between my monitors here. It sure looks like it's charged. If I can not get it back on the dock, whatever. I'll sort that out properly in a hot second here. Yeah, maybe I'll come back and do that. Or maybe I'll come back and decide I'm doing something else. So anybody that could be tuning into the HallowLAN stuff here or checking it out on YouTube after the fact, I'm thinking this is what's going to come next in this little adventure here. But in terms of Assassin's Creed, this was one of the longest adventures I've ever done here. This took one heck of a long time. I'm glad it's done. And I'm really going to try to have Valhalla not take that long. Like, this singular playthrough encompassed so much of my life, starting from just before I started my final semester of university, all the way up until more than 11 months later after that point. Almost a full year. I grew a beard in that time. I graduated university. I went on a trip down to the States. I've been doing a lot of stuff since then. My life is in a very different place than it was 11 months ago. And this is something that's all been encompassed by this one playthrough here, which is insane to me. And yeah, maybe there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff going on in life next year, and maybe then Valhalla will encompass a whole bunch of other stuff as well. I don't know. Guess we'll see. But for now, I think I'm going to take a little bit of a BRB break. Yeah, that really quick 2-hour DLC in and out, it'll be no problem. Yeah, funny story about that. So I think it's about time to like get up and stretch and maybe start my car for a little bit, just so it doesn't freeze up here, and so I can get home on Sunday. And yeah, So if anybody's ever watching this as part of the Assassin's Creed series playlist, as if that would ever happen, not getting tired of Odyssey before this point. The next time that we continue this will be with this game here. That is probably not going to take as long. Yeah, I feel like I'd have other things to say, and like I should have other things to say at the end of an 11.5-month, 150-hour playthrough. But I feel like I said most of what I needed to say at the end of the Fate of Atlantis. Like, I'm not going to give another full review here. I already did that at the end of that. And yeah. It's a little bit bittersweet, where it's like, it's been going on for so long, it's hard to say goodbye. But I'm kind of glad to at the same time. Probably not take that long. Famous last words by Harmonia. Yeah, you want to see this not take that long? Bam. Here's my BRB screen. I'm out of here. I'm gonna go, like, get up and stretch and have some water and start my car and do stuff. And I see Rise redeeming absolutely nothing, who's sitting right across from me right now. Alright. I'll be back for HallowLAN with Paper Mario the 1,000-Year Door, or something else if I randomly change my mind during my BRB break. And in terms of Assassin's Creed, I'll be back with Valhalla on January 1st, unless I'm busy that day, in which case it'll be sometime shortly after then. That'll be a big 2025 playthrough, so until then.